Hey, well,
Hey, no, it's over there. Ryan, it's over here.
Where's the camera?
What over here?
Right here?
I don't know. It's the red
I
one.
was
that's
looking
there.
at the monitor
There
and the
it
thing
is.
didn't go away.
Hey.
Hello.
Flip. Welcome to the Patch. Today brought to you by Blue Apron and Trunk Club. Thank you, Blue Apron and Trunk Club, for supporting this episode of the Patch.
Great products are here.
Yeah, today we have, we're going to start this way, which is weird because we never do that. We have Ryan.
Andy.
Ashley.
And a chair.
Well, it's because
Look at it. It's nice and blue.
This is the spirit of Gus.
The spirit of Gus.
But we're also going to desecrate the spirit of Gus because
Make sure they sit on it.
Terrible fannies.
exactly.
We're gonna rotate
all the
'em.
terrible fannies. I'm keeping in mind that fanny means vagina in the rest of the world.
Really?
Is that true?
Oh yeah.
Is it just purely an American thing? Is fanny? Fanny is a bum in America and that's it?
Exactly.
Interesting.
So everywhere else thinks that the term fanny pack is hilarious.
Oh.
It's a veggie pack.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I guess that kind of makes sense now.
Your vag bag?
It's a
Is it
vag
like
bag.
Fanny and Freddie kind of thing, where it's like,
What's Freddie?
just like a prototypical
you mean like
male versus
name-
female kind of name.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the etymology is, and I'm not sure why Americans ended up with fanny being butt
Bottom.
instead. But it is a lot of fun. But we're gonna desecrate it, perhaps not with vaginas, but at the very least
There
with
might
some
be a
butts.
vagina.
There could be.
There
we
could be
don't know.
vaginas.
We're a
not
very
judging.
open-minded company here.
The more vaginas, the better. Frankly, I think everyone can get on
We
board
can all
with
get
that.
behind that,
Yup.
sure.
And
Phrasing.
because the reviews for PlayStation VR are starting to come out, and the hardware itself comes out in like a week.
On the
So-
13th.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I figured this is a good opportunity to get as many perspectives as possible from just people around Rooster Teeth as to whether they're thinking about getting it, like what they think of it. The reviews are pretty interesting.
But yeah, so go ahead and we'll give a blanket warning. If you're one of those people that are just completely turned off by VR, we're going to be talking about it for a little while. Just a warning.
We might
because
even-
it is big. This is big news. When
This
a new
is.
significant piece of hardware hits the market, it is worth discussing on a news program. So.
Also, because this is bringing VR to consoles, which it hasn't been available on previously, and it's supposed to be the sort of like consumer, like almost entry level VR. It's a lower price point and all that
If you
stuff.
already
So
have the
it's-
PS4, the hardware.
yes,
Do you feel like
already
that's
have
If
it.
you
statement is true.
don't, it's like $1,000.
But there's also like 40 million plus people who already have the PS4.
That's true. A lot of people have it. But if you don't, it's not the cheapest. But if you do, it is the cheapest. Also,
Well, I would say
Well,
it's
even then
still the
it's-
cheapest because
well,
if you don't,
yeah.
like,
how much is the
that's-
PS4?
that's like
$399
saying-
standard? $299?
Yeah, I think $4.99.
Okay.
No, sorry,
No,
not
not
$4.99.
$4.99.
$3.99.
Yeah.
I was getting mixed up between $400 and $3.99.
Yes. And I think the VR itself is $499 or $399.
So the VR itself is $3.99
Yes.
if you already have the PlayStation camera and
the
Move
two
controllers.
Move controllers, which came out in 2010, and they haven't updated that hardware at all.
I still love them because they just look like
The little dildo
giant
ice cream
glow-up
cones.
dildos. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're fantastic. I love that
I
Sony
have
has
them.
Are
stuck
they?
with it.
Like
They're
that's-
not great.
No,
they're
I
not
mean-
good.
I
They're charming,
mean that
I guess.
I mean that in kind of a condescending way.
Oh, okay.
They're
'Cause,
great.
So
like-
far,
Those are
Opposite.
sassy, like Mean Girls kind of. They're
Yeah,
great.
exactly.
okay, I got it.
They're great. On Wednesdays, we bitch about Move controllers. But yes, the reviews are kind of mixed. Honestly, I feel like a lot of it is stuff that is to be expected, that everyone kind of figured would be coming because it is working with less powerful hardware, and it's supposed to be impressively optimized considering the hardware. Actually, no, hold on a second. We got an ice bucket with beer for this episode.
Let's crack them
you
open.
want to crack one open?
I really need one today. I just got off a plane from the Streamies.
Oh, welcome back.
Thank you. I got on a plane, I got to the office and recorded 2 newsreads, put out a couple fires, and now I'm here. Also, these are the cutest little tiny beers.
Oh, what is that?
They make me feel like a large human.
That's just like the
No, here, I
PlayStation
opened it for
VR
you.
I was
of beers.
like, how,
Yeah,
thanks.
no
Andy.
problem. Yeah.
Would you like one?
I'm good. I
caps are on
came
the floor.
loaded,
Pepsi soda?
fully
Love it.
loaded.
I just like I asked for an ice bucket and we got an actual
I don't
ice
think I've
bucket.
ever drank an actual
is-
Dos
is
Equis
this-
before.
Hey,
It's the
control
most
room, is
interesting
this
beer
like
in
the
the world.
ice
I'm
that was
living
in the
the
freezer?
living the meme.
And we just
Well, we just had the one cube.
I appreciate it, honestly. Like, I will take any ice we can get. Our poor ice machine, it's like one fridge with the auto ice machine, and it's shared between, like, 100 people. So it has a really hard time
I feel like
keeping up.
that is, if a caveman could have made ice, that is the ice that he would have made. Just a large chunk, ice bucket.
Yeah,
ruin
and then
the tape.
then he
That's
would
a
have put his
stretch, I
feet
know,
through his
but I'm going
car
with it.
and gone to
Uh huh.
market
Yeah. Well, then they invented the wheel, and dinosaurs pushed
with
it.
his dinosaur disposal.
I've seen the Flintstones. Thank
We've got
you.
Dos
Thank
Equis out right now.
We have. Does that mean Quattro keys?
Cuatro Equis. Hey,
It's still only Dos.
Oh, this is nice.
I should have got some makeup on. I am really red. There we go.
And shiny, but
And
that's
he-
okay.
If
I
you
glisten.
weren't, Andy, if you weren't red, would anyone recognize you?
No,
It's
I'd
fair.
be like, who the hell is that? I'd be like, oh, that's how I got my job. It's the red one.
Yeah. So to run down some of the now that we're properly equipped with the
Bevved.
world's cutest beers,
They're little tiny.
I love them.
They're so
actually. I
cute
really
and
like them.
adorable.
Also, I can
Dos
drink.
Equis.
I can drink 6 of them and not feel like I'm overdoing it.
Is that 7.9 fluid ounces?
Yes.
No, this is
seven.
just 7.
It's 7
Just
fluid
7.
ounces.
Just
Okay, at least
7
it's
straight
round.
fluid ounces.
No, not enough room for that 0.9. Get out of here.
7. Who did that? Never mind.
It's-
You know what? Never mind.
It saves
so
you. It
unconventional.
saves you
I
the
don't
extra
even-
5 of a normal beer.
There's too many avenues to go down of statements with this. Let's
Anyway,
Give video
getting back
games.
to video games, which we sometimes talk about on this podcast.
when there's not beer.
When there's not beer, which is, let's be honest, the best subject.
I've been on the
to be
show one other
discussing.
time, and I've had beer on the last time I was too. So, and also last time I was
Maybe-
here, we
maybe
talked
you
about
free me.
VR.
You seem to be a consistent.
The last time I was here, we talked about VR and know nothing about it. So here we are again.
When you know something about Move, that
makes-
helps.
Yeah. Also,
I know about
this
the
makes
Move.
your experience valuable
I
because
will-
you're coming
it's a
at it
learning
from
experience.
we get sometimes on this podcast we get really into it. Adam Ellis, he has like these huge like battle stations. He's super into VR, super passionate about high end PCs. Frankly, he's kind of a snob about it, but he knows that. And so sometimes we can go a little bit overboard and just assume that the world that we live in
It's
is
like-
the world that everyone lives in. You can keep us real. How
There you
about
go.
that?
You're
It's
the
like
common man.
I'm the console pleb, and I'm here now, and
You're-
I'm the common.
How
I'm the
about this?
everyman.
You're Ted Mosby.
I'm Ted Mosby. Who's Ted Mosby?
How I Met Your Mother.
Okay.
He's the,
Yeah, I don't
you
get
have
the
to have a
reference
straight
either.
man.
Don't
What
worry
about
about it. We're good.
what about the main dude in Arrested Development? You got to have this
Oh,
straight
okay.
man
That guy, yeah.
for all the people to be
Not
crazy
George
around.
Michael, the other one.
Right.
Michael
George.
George.
Sure.
Michael Cera's dad.
Michael
Yeah,
Cera's dad.
that
yes.
guy.
Michael Bluth.
Everybody loves that guy.
Michael Bluth.
I'm-
I watched the show. I know.
My brain is
Not
destroyed
that
right
guy.
now.
That's Ted.
That's Ted Mosby right there. So you recognize Ted Mosby?
I mean, I know what he looks like, but now that you said he's the main guy of that show, I
Well-
know what that guy
I've
looks
never
like.
seen an
That's
episode
all
of
I
that
got.
show. Video games.
Video games.
So
Okay.
PlayStation VR. You
Yes.
can be in every one of those shows. No, it's not true. You can't do that at all.
You can pilot an X-wing though.
Strangely enough, that's not listed here on the launch titles though.
Interesting.
So I guess the
think-
Star Wars experience is not a launch title.
Interesting, because the game's been out for over a year.
Well, I know that
Or about a year.
some of the launch titles that have been reviewed are actually it's very interesting. They're saying Batman, awesome.
Well, awesome.
He was talking that it was kind of lame.
It sounds like
Short, I think
Debate.
short.
well, okay. So here's what I read about it, and here's where I can see it might not be great.
I'll
One,
just be the moderator.
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
good at that.
Okay, wonderful.
so from
Get
what
other
I've
people to
read,
fight.
Exactly.
you spend this is a very common issue with VR. You spend an awful lot of time standing in one place. Sometimes you're standing in one place as Bruce talking to Alfred. Sometimes you're standing in one place getting on your Batman gear, which, to be fair, that moment was the most interesting out of anything I saw because
Putting on the bat gear?
Well, you grab the suit and you put it on and like, okay, well, suit's on. Then it has like a thing where you put your gauntlets on. And you're like, oh, now I got like your hands turned into the bat
Now you can
gauntlets. You're
punch
like,
brick.
and then it gives you like the cowl and you put that on your head and it's like beep, and then a mirror comes out. It's like, this is you're Batman.
You look good.
You're Batman now.
Yes.
It'd be really
Now you're
cool
Batman.
if the I don't know, like the HUD or something, like the UI changed when you put on the mask.
I think it does.
Does
I think
it?
There's like
That's a great
It did
touch.
from the video I looked at. It did look at maybe some of the background like change color as if it was being enhanced subtly. So
Enhance.
Like his HUD was coming up.
yeah.
Enhance.
But after that, you're Batman with maybe kind of a mild case of palsy because the move controllers are like this.
Yeah, unfortunately, it seems like the move controllers and the PlayStation camera are what's unfortunately holding back PlayStation
Yep,
VR.
its own technology.
The VR itself is very, very good for what it is. It has less of a screen door effect than the high-end VR options in some ways. Would you agree with that, Ryan?
Do you think
I
so?
mean, you're sounding
You're
very
the
skeptical.
VR guy. You know, use it pretty
I don't have
daily.
a lot of I don't have a lot of firsthand experience with PlayStation VR.
Nor
The
do I. I
reviews
haven't- I
that
haven't
have
actually
come
used the
out
screen.
are what have me interested.
And from what I've seen in the reviews, and again, I will preface this by saying I haven't ever gotten to actually put one of them on my head. So
It's one screen though, as opposed to two for each eye, isn't it?
Well, that's pretty typical.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Most of them
Again,
are
I
just
have no
a single
idea.
screen that's split in the middle.
Split.
But yeah, I've played with an Oculus and I played with a Vive, but I've never actually had the PlayStation on. But from what I'm seeing in a lot of the reviews, there is a noticeable reduction in quality, which I mean, it's to be expected. It's the lowest resolution of any of the. It's only running a 1080 screen. And it is, however, at least keeping up in refresh rate, though they had those various options where you could do it was like you could do 120 native, you could do 90 native, or you could do a 60 that faked a 120.
Interesting.
Okay.
Which, by all accounts, all of that stuff worked pretty well. I'm not hearing any issues of people having motion sickness, which is what you commonly see when people that are not really used to VR put on a VR headset and the refresh rate isn't up to par, is they tend to start vomiting into their hands.
Okay.
That
Yeah,
hasn't
okay.
happened.
Because they can't find a bucket, apparently.
Well, in VR,
Right.
you
It's just
grab
their
the
hands are
bucket
right there,
and
right
it's
in
not
the
really a
Move
bucket.
It's
right
a
on the move
fake
controller.
bucket.
Yeah. The PlayStation Move actually becomes a bucket in virtual reality, and then you just puke right
And
to the
maybe
floor.
it works better then. I don't know.
Maybe, yeah.
But yeah, that seems to be a consistent issue as well. The tracking range is very poor compared to the other options.
Or that you like turn too much and it loses track of something, and then the games go all wonky.
It doesn't really have an option to cover, as far as I'm aware, if you turn all the way around. If you occlude the Move controllers from the camera, that's it. They're gone. And it seems like the field of view on the camera isn't great. So I saw one of the reviews where they were talking about playing Job Simulator, which is a game that I have played on other platforms.
We have a Let's Play on that.
We do. We have
Or Let's
several.
Watch, yeah.
Or VR the Champions.
That's the one. We have so many different shows.
Yeah, we just keep making them. We need to stop. And if you bend down too far, it loses tracking on your hands. So all the stuff that you can interact with under the desk in the office, for example, you just can't get to it. I guess maybe you can angle your camera down or find a way.
So there's limitations, like in the
There's much more
perspective.
Yeah, the field of view on the Oculus sensor is much wider. I'm not even going to compare it to the Vive because the Vive is a room scale by design. So it's, generally speaking, very large area.
Yes.
But the Oculus is, again, working off a single camera set on your desk. And there's not nearly the issue. Oh, there's our VR the Champions. So everything you're seeing that happens in this, like if you were to go below the edge of that floating trolley there, you just couldn't do it. And there's another experience where there's like sometimes you may drop a key. It hits the floor. All right, well.
That's gone forever.
That's gone. That's on the floor now.
It's down in a pit.
You'll never see that again.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was just that particular reviewer didn't have enough space in his office or her office to calibrate it.
He's playing in a cupboard.
It could be. I mean, if you're in a cubicle and you're trying to do this, sure, maybe there's just not visual space to do it. If we tried to do it in a bigger open area, maybe it would actually track better. But it wouldn't surprise me if there were more stringent limitations on the tracking area for that.
I get the feeling that within a year or so, they'll be putting out new versions of a lot of that stuff that's compatible and that works better. This seems like they needed to get it to market. They already have this base technology. And the thing is, because they're physically separate, they're different peripherals, they can make new stuff that will work with the headset. They can upgrade it. And then that way, it also, for a lot of people, becomes an investment over time. Where, say, if you've already got Move controllers and everything, you're like, great, you don't need to worry about that right now. In a year, it's not going to be such a big deal that you dropped, $400 on this VR headset. You might be able to put in a little bit more for new controllers. But I think they're trying to reduce sticker shock as much as possible. And I don't blame them because the tough thing about the release schedule right now is that it's within a month of the PS4 Pro. So if you've already got a PS4, that's kind of like you can make a decision, do you upgrade or do you go into VR? And that's going to depend on a lot of people, I guess, making a decision for their gaming preference. What's more important to them, that VR experience and being on that sort of leading edge of new types of gaming, or 4K.
Which is also arguably necessary to make VR really an experience that's playable. So that's maybe they're going to be the harder sell because you really are going to end up, if you want to go the VR road, you're going to want the newer hardware to run it on. I know they're kind of committed to making it backwards compatible, but if they're going to have more robust visual
Well,
experiences,
they're using
they
the
need
move
the bigger
controller,
one.
so in a way, it still is.
And they need to replace that move controller. So there's a really weird setup or like loop of VR happening right now where so the Vive has probably arguably the best tracking and controllers, but you can't play with it anywhere. They don't sell it in Best Buy, so you can't just go test it unless you know somebody that has it.
Okay.
The Oculus has no controller, but they do sell it in Best Buy, so you could go play with it in one. And then the PlayStation VR will be probably moving into Best Buy space as well.
I would imagine so.
And maybe we'll have demo units. So they will also be there, but they'll have a worse screen, but they will have controllers. So you'll have a side-by-side there where it's like
a Venn
well, the
diagram.
Oculus is pretty, but I don't have a controller with it yet because touch isn't out. The PlayStation VR isn't as pretty, and the controllers are there, but they're kind of eh. And I hear this stuff about Vive, but I can't play with one. So
really,
Wait till next year.
What VR is saying here is, you want it all? Too bad.
Yeah.
Yep.
What are you happy to go without?
what would you like to settle for today?
But, that said, that is absolutely up to consumers. And from what I've been hearing from a lot of people, they're looking forward to PlayStation VR because it's going to be easy, sit-down experience, which I know, like, some people like the stand-up and move around experience of the Vive. Some people really just want to sit down. And obviously that's what's happening with Oculus at the moment, although they're hoping to move into that stand and walk around space as well. But so you want that, you want it to be nice and easy, great. You want it to be more affordable, great. That's what PlayStation VR is. That's the people that PlayStation VR wants. I mean, that's really the console mindset is, I just want it to be easy. It's not going to be as powerful. It's not going to be crazy. It's not going to be pushing the limits of what's technologically possible, but it's going to be
reliable.
a good, tight, optimized experience for what it is, and it's going to be reliable. Like, that's really that's the console version of VR.
Well, you say that, but again, this is what Andy and I were talking about right before the thing, and what we've mentioned a couple times now is reliable, but you're relying on a 8-year-old technology for your motion
2010,
control.
6 years old, not great. And they haven't updated the technology since.
And it's the exact
Like,
move
when I-
controllers
when
they
I-
released.
When I was rushing to figure out what the hell we were going to talk about today, I looked up PlayStation VR for a second from what Ashley told me about, and I was like, they use the PlayStation Move controllers, and they look exactly the same. And I looked up, I was like, oh, those are just the PS3 PlayStation Move controllers. They just work with PS4. I was like, they haven't updated them.
But it was the same kind of logic, too, that Nintendo had by making the Wii controllers compatible with the Wii U.
Yep.
It's like, you've got them.
But they still updated. They put the Wii Motion Plus into the Wii remote.
That's true.
Like the PlayStation Move hasn't had anything new to it.
Also,
Yeah, that's
does
true.
anyone have it? I mean, we say you've
Move
got them when it
controllers?
comes to Wii because everybody bought a Wii. But Move, I don't know that it sold that many units.
Let's do a really quick, hold on, I'm going to make a straw poll. I'm going to
Okay.
post that straw poll on Twitter using #ThePatch, and all the people that are watching live can vote. And that sample size is going to be large enough that we can make a definitive statistic for how many people actually have Move
We
controllers.
could probably
Watch
even
this.
call the next presidential election off that subset
Yeah, we
of people.
can.
Oh, maybe I'll give it a retweet.
All right, hold on. I'm going to do this real quick. Create poll.
But while you're doing that, I'll just read off the list of other
Perfect.
launch titles that they've got listed here. This is on BGR.com. So it could be that something's missing here. But there's PlayStation VR Worlds, the Batman Arkham VR experience, Thumper, which is kind of like a rhythm game, Battlezone, which is like tanks, sort of, which,
Cool.
well...
You would
So
think.
I saw a review on that, and it looks like it's a multiplayer like co-op sort of experience. But I think the guy playing it said that he kept bumping into his friends and getting absorbed by them. So that's
VR
not
is
great.
the way of the future.
Yeah, Super Hypercube.
That doesn't sound like Star Wars at all.
It doesn't. No, you start with a cube, and then you get more complex as you go through walls.
All right,
So it's like the
tweet
game
it.
where you have to make a shape with your body, and only you grow an extra arm every time.
Is that intentional?
Oh,
I mean, I don't think that you're having to do shapes at all. I have no idea how the
Got
controls
it.
work.
Moving back
like that
very,
show
very
Hole in the Wall.
quickly. Nerdtron JJ on Twitter tells us that the UI change for the cowl in Batman VR just makes everything blue.
There you
Cool.
go. See, it's a change.
Well, that's how Batman sees everything.
I mean, it makes sense.
He does.
I saw it in a movie once.
See,
All shades
it
of
makes
blue.
everything nighttime.
Unless you're doing our Telltale playthrough,
It
in
makes
which
everything
case
really
he's playing everything's purple for him because we picked purple.
And really, why wouldn't you?
It seemed like a good choice at the time. We didn't realize it was going to turn the entire game purple. Wayward
Blue.
Sky, which is a point-and-click adventure game, job simulator. Until Dawn, Rush of Blood, which that's one of the titles that I'm really curious to see because I loved Until Dawn, and I would kind of love to go back into that game for any reason. Something called Allumette, which is just an animated short. It's an animated short film. Tumble
So it's
VR.
just a movie,
That sounds
it's just
cool
a movie.
but can you interact with it at all? Or is it just like watch this cutscene? Okay, it's over.
No. I mean, I assume you can look around and get different experiences.
So it's like a
depending on where you look.
360 YouTube video.
Exactly.
Cool.
Yeah. Tumble VR, which is a puzzle game, and it was actually a puzzle game for the PS3, and Harmonix Music VR, which is
So like GarageBand. Not GarageBand. Sorry.
It's gonna be another one of those like
Guitar Hero, whatever.
I think
Rock Band?
it's just an audio like a music visualizer. I don't even know that that's a game. It's okay. It says here that it felt more like a hyper advanced audio visualizer.
So
it is a game.
Windows Media
sorta.
Player.
There it is. That's it on screen.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
It's flowers fly out. That's how it happens.
Interesting. And these are all the launch titles for PSVR.
That's all that was listed on this website. Now I'm
Interesting.
going to look for a better list. Right after I read this. Okay, I was waiting for that screen to clear. There we go. Not all ingredients are created equal. Fresh, high-quality ingredients taste better and are better for you, so it's important to know where your food comes from. Blue Apron knows that when you cook with incredible ingredients, you make incredible meals. So they set the highest quality standards for their community of artisanal suppliers, family-run farms, fisheries, and ranchers. Whether it's Japanese ramen noodles, wild-caught Alaskan salmon, or heirloom tomatoes, Blue Apron is bringing you the best. For less than $10 per meal, Blue Apron delivers seasonal recipes along with pre-proportioned ingredients to make delicious home-cooked meals. Blue Apron features new recipes that are created each week by Blue Apron's culinary team and are not repeated within a year. Each meal comes with a step-by-step, easy-to-follow recipe card and pre-proportioned ingredients and can be prepared in 40 minutes or less. Check out this week's menu and get your first 3 meals free with free shipping by going to blueapron.com/thepatch. You will love how good it feels and tastes to create incredible home-cooked meals with Blue Apron. So don't wait. That's blueapron.com/thepatch. Blue Apron, a better way to cook.
Yeah, it is.
There we go. Yeah, you got it, don't you?
I like cooking.
Lindsay made a Blue Apron last night.
Nice.
Thanks for indulging me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I'm glad we could.
It was nice.
We
It
could
was
get
a
this.
pizza.
Okay, so checking in on the straw poll at the moment.
That I retweeted.
Yeah, thank you guys for voting. So far, the answer is, hey, look at that, we got it up and everything. We have 88.5% saying nah,
I like that it's animated.
and we have 11.4% saying yeah.
What was the question again?
Do you have PS Move controllers?
That's more
already?
than I would have expected, to be honest.
That is, yeah, that's more than I thought. I mean, I still have them, but they're like collecting dust somewhere at my old home back in Massachusetts.
So that's one more for the yeah.
They did not make the move.
No, no, they didn't. So you know what I need? Another one. of these.
Another beer.
I
another tiny
really
beer.
do. I really do.
Well, you got to finish that one first. Go, chug.
Oh,
Do it,
man,
do it.
there's-
There you go.
Okay, so there's a lot
Good.
more games that'll be coming out for PlayStation VR than that.
And
website
I figure
listed.
in a couple minutes we'll
Boo.
start bringing on
Boo,
some Rooster Teeth
BGR.
people. I've got Cole coming on. You know, Cole Gallion. We actually had him on last time we did a roundtable from our animation group. Caden and Eddie from The Know are going to come on and let me know because I'm actually not sure. I think Caden is planning on getting it, and I think Eddie wasn't, but now maybe is. But also I asked Brian Riley from our games department.
What about Blaine? That
come
guy's got a PS4.
Yeah, he. I spoke to him earlier, and I think he said at the moment, nah.
Nah.
I forgot one title I
What's
am
that,
actually
Ryan?
legitimately excited about for PlayStation VR.
Is it Star Wars?
It's not Star Wars, but I'm excited for that too. But it doesn't come out till the. Well, actually, it looks like it comes out early, so it's probably a VR plus 2D experience, but 100-foot robot golf.
100.
Oh,
that sounds
that
fun.
does look really fun.
It does. I want to be a giant robot playing golf in a city
Also, though, just like beating the crap out of each other with golf clubs.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, that's what the game really is, right? They call it robot golf, but
I mean,
it's actually
occasionally you might
fight other
golf.
robots.
Well, I mean, what
Also,
else
that
you do
is
with golf?
clearly Voltron.
Nah.
This is one of the
yeah,
robots
yeah.
that is.
It
Well,
just
not that
looks
one. There's one that's
fantastic.
like
Look how
multiple
big those
lions
golf
stuck
clubs are.
together.
What are they? How big are the balls?
I mean, boulder
huge.
size. They're There was a plane.
They're plane-sized balls.
I want to play this game even if it's not in VR. So that's a good sign.
It really does just look like a very, very cool experience.
I think that's what we're really missing right now in the world of VR gaming is you need to make a title that someone's like, I want to play that even if it wasn't VR.
Yeah.
If that looks like a game you'd play in 2D, VR will make there's potentially. But right now, you've got a lot of titles that are just like, well, it's VR, so just kind of just play it because there's nothing else to do.
You'll buy it. You'll play it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a couple of quick tweets from people like with their PlayStation Move controller experiences is Sean Meekier says, I forgot the controllers existed. Rosina18 says, I never bought the Move controllers, but I do have the iToy. Wow.
Yeah, I have the iToy.
Wow.
You're the guy with that. You're the two consumers. We found the two consumers with the iToy.
Yeah.
Actually,
get together.
What are you doing it for what?
Didn't you have to have did the iToy come, like you could use the Move controllers with the iToy, or did you have to buy a new camera for that?
I think you could only use the Move controllers with the iToy, isn't it?
Okay. I remember an iToy came out for, I think, was it PS2?
The original, yeah.
And then they came out again with PS3, and I wasn't sure if they'd rebranded
I have the
it at that
iToy
point,
and the PlayStation.
or if they rebranded it to just PlayStation camera for
the iToy.
PS4. Oh, the iToy.
Yeah, and then PS3, I think they just dropped the toy, which is the PlayStation Eye.
Gotcha.
I think that's what it was.
Oh yeah, there's a lot more launch titles than what I was listing on the website. That's God.
So now you're saying it's worth it.
I got Ace Banana. It's an archery game.
Shit.
Battlezone. Mentioned that one already. Bound.
Reportedly they have
Club,
one of the better launch lineups for exclusives. I think. Let's see, what is it? Let me find their some of the exclusive list.
Hustle Kings. I'm looking at the PlayStation blog now.
Are those launch titles or exclusives?
No, these are not exclusives because it's like Keep Talking Nobody Explodes, which has been.
I'm talking about The Office. What's that game called?
Job Simulator is also not a exclusive. I imagine Hatsune Miku Project Diva X is probably
Sign
exclusive.
me up for that one.
But maybe not. Maybe that's got a crossover. There's two Eve titles, both of which I'm sure are on other platforms.
Okay, there we go. So two of the big and they're timed exclusives, but regardless, for now they are exclusives. So Batman Arkham VR is an exclusive, and then the other one that I had forgotten about is Resident Evil 7.
Resident Evil. There's also
the whole game, or just like the demo, like that.
No, it's a demo.
Okay.
Yeah,
it's a kitchen
the
something.
Biohazard.
Is it the one that came out already, or is it another one?
It's a good question. I don't know. There's also Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Interesting.
These are, I can almost guarantee you, all going to be very short experience type games.
Well, and that's the ongoing problem with VR. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think
unless like
it
could be an accessory towards like an existing game like Elite Dangerous, or it felt like a lot of like the space combat games really like utilize VR very smartly.
Yeah, like
anything where you don't expect to walk around.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Star Trek Bridge Crew is coming out, but that's these are not at launch anymore. We've moved out. There's Star Wars Battlefront, Rogue One, X-Wing VR.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's
Star Wars. Dumbest name.
It's Star Wars Battlefront, Rogue One, X-Wing VR mission.
Rolls right off the tongue. I don't see a problem.
I mean, it's no wonder I couldn't remember.
What was the game that came before Rocket League?
You mean the same company made the precursor? Because Rocket League was actually a sequel.
It had one of those similarly.
Yeah.
Like even the abbreviation of the name was so goddamn long that like all I can say was it was the game that came before Rocket League, and I'm pretty sure that's shorter to say than the actual name was.
It may have been. Yeah, it's the super kick-ass driving kickball game or something.
I didn't know Rocket League was a sequel.
It was, but no one did. It's because no one.
Something new every day.
I mean, it's like spiritual
successor.
I forgot about Psychonauts in the Rhombus of Ruin.
Oh my god, I
love Psychonauts. The first one was great.
I'm really looking forward to that as the bridge between Psychonauts and Psychonauts 2.
Now that's gonna be later in 2016, but we're not. There's not much later to go. It's just listed as Q4. So
the last quarter, so yeah, it's coming out soon.
So sometime in the next few months.
Why not?
Brookhaven Experiment, which
I would
is
still
already
consider
on.
all that stuff though like launch window.
Yeah, it's hard not to be in launch window if you're releasing in October 13th, and still be in 2016.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because a launch window is what usually like the first 6 months.
I thought,
or that's at least Nintendo's take on it.
Some
right?
windows are bigger than others.
I'd say like 3, but I could see 6 as being a
Hulu. that's actually listed here. They have a Hulu app for
Hulu.
PlayStation VR.
I mean, I can get that because at that point it feels like it's just a personal screen. One of the reasons, so one of the major pros, what's that?
It's you get to watch Hulu in a fancier room than you're currently sitting in. Is basically what it amounts to.
So you can forget your shitty life and pretend that you have a really nice.
It's like, you know what? I think I'd rather feel like I'm in a New York apartment. I'll just turn off my regular life and watch Hulu in somebody else's house. It's still a 2D screen, just projected into a nicer place.
You know, reportedly though, the hardware, the actual like the manufactured hardware of PlayStation VR is far superior to the other options. And that actually doesn't surprise me because Sony's been doing personal TVs, not, ones that are going to turn like this, but basically personal screens that mount to your head for a really long time now, for several years. We've mentioned it before on the patch, and I always forget the name, so I'm going to find it again. Sony
PlayStation View
head-mounted display.
HMD.
The HMZ, like T3W. In fact, when PlayStation VR was first announced as Project Morpheus, a lot of the promotional materials that people found was projects. I like the theme. You only recently
I didn't figure it out until someone brought it up the other day because there was a couple. It was the Neo was what the original
Neo
name
and
for.
Morpheus, yeah.
I'm sure Trinity's gonna be in this. That sounds like a.
Well, the next one's called like what's the next release of PlayStation?
The Agent Smith
Pro.
There you go. Didn't have a code name?
It was Neo.
That was Neo. Okay.
Yeah.
Morpheus. Yeah.
You got to excuse me.
I'm
dumb today.
Hey,
dumber today.
Considering like how scrambled my brain is from I was up super early this morning. Do you ever have that thing where you got a flight or something and you're so you don't want to miss
anywhere,
it?
So no.
Of course, you're grounded.
I'm grounded for a little bit. I'm staying in Austin.
You're really nervous about missing a flight or something because I was I didn't want to miss my flight. I had to get back for the patch. And so I spent all of last night waking up every hour.
I do that for every flight.
And looking at the clock in a panic thinking that I'd overslept or something. Mm-hmm. And no, it had only been a couple of minutes since I last woke up in a panic. And then I'd fall asleep and dream about it. And so
Where does it end?
I'm exhausted. I got off a plane and I've been going ever since. So I do apologize.
I also am one of those people I cannot sleep
today.
on planes either. I always wake up every hour, on the half hour before the flight.
Supersonic acrobatic rocket powered battle cars.
There you go.
That was the name.
That's a terrible name.
It's actually it's a really
pithy.
Great name, but it's not a name that I'm going to remember. Supersonic acrobatic rocket powered battle cars.
It's very descriptive of the game.
If you get into a rhythm of saying it, then you're going to be fine.
I mean,
it's like the supercalifragilistic.
You read that title and you know exactly the game.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. So that's 8-ish. Supersonic acrobatic rocket powered battle cars. Nope. Hold on. I counted battle as one.
Let me hold your beer.
I think it's 9.
9?
No.
You got it outsyllables it by 1. You gotta get your.
Maybe I don't know. Look, I stopped counting.
On beer 2, you've just topped a can.
We're fine.
You're 2 ounces over a single can.
We're fine.
They're supersonic, frictiala battle cars.
Yeah, that one.
It's impressive.
Wow, it looks so identical.
It does. It looks like a ripoff.
I always loved the success story of Rocket League. It came out and it was really all word of mouth. People who played it and thought this is fucking amazing and told everyone else to play it. Everyone else played it and thought this is fucking amazing, told other people. And now it just became this grassroots success. Mm-hmm. And that's not something that you can predict. It's like being we're going to make a viral video. No, you can't make a video go viral, but they had the ingredients, and then all of the factors just came together to really make it this huge success, which it deserves to be. And also, the new Under the Water DLC looks so cool.
Yeah, they really hit their aesthetic.
It's like opposite aquarium.
Okay, got it. Was that genuine when you said it was so cool?
Yeah.
Okay, you made a face, but I was thinking maybe that was just the alcohol.
You weren't sure if you're mean girling again.
Exactly. Yeah, you were mean girling pretty hard before, so I wasn't quite sure.
No, I'm really excited. That's just my face.
Okay, I thought it was the alcohol, but all right.
I mean, it might be as well, but I watched the trailer for the DLC, and it looks freaking fantastic.
It's very
Bioshocky.
Bioshocky.
Use the Bioshock font, yeah.
Yeah, the whole thing is you get down to this. Actually, the whole level looks very Bioshocky.
It does. Maybe Ryan would be proud. So is it
maybe
the same game, but just underwater?
Maybe that's why I like it so much. Yeah, it's the same thing. It's the arena. You're not in the water in the arena, but you're in an opposite.
And the
version.
cutscene you
It's
are
like Final
apparently.
Fantasy X.
Yes.
Yeah, kind of, right?
You know, I might play that again at some point.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
I
It's on the
I
PlayStation.
replay games the same way I reread books. And I think part of it is that, and I don't know, maybe other people have this sort of experience with how they play or read or watch things, but I've gotten very much into that binge habit where I will read a book in a sitting.
Interesting.
And if it's a series, like I'm in the middle of reading this fantasy series right now. It's the Temeraire series, which is about, okay, it's really cool. The UK, this is during the Napoleonic Wars,
Okay.
and all the armies have dragons.
And that's the only difference is they just now have dragons.
I mean, sort of, but like you have a lot of things that end up falling out differently because of dragons.
I'll
and
wait for the
everything.
movie.
I can see how that
They're,
would
they're
go.
basically
Yeah.
like the aerial forces, and it's really great. It's 9 books in the series, and I would
Wow.
read like a book per sitting,
Uh-huh.
and I now can't really tell you what happened in the first book because
Because it
I
just all
consumed the
blends together.
experience and then
You
I
go too
moved
fast,
on,
yeah.
and I didn't absorb it, and
You
that
really
happens to
ingest
me
it.
a lot with TV series.
Mm-hmm.
With movies, well, movies less so because you can't not really watch a movie all in one sitting.
Yeah.
But also
You
to
can.
some degree with
All movie?
games.
You don't watch a movie in one sitting, but you read a whole book in a sitting?
No, I'm
No,
saying that you
yeah.
do, but it's hard to
It's
watch
hard
a movie
not
any
to do
other
that
way.
with a movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. I was like, interesting.
There's a
You're
double
a weird
negative
human
thing.
being.
Yeah.
But I tend to do that sort of binge thing with games as well, where I'll play through and I'll just have this experience and I'll be greedy for like the rest of it, and then I'll get through it, and then in a week you'll ask me what happened. I'll be like, I don't know, but it was really great.
It was awesome. Yeah. You had to be there.
I
Yeah.
wish I could do more of that. My life right now is broken up into like, oh, well, I'll start a game for Let's Watch, so I can't touch that until we go back to Let's Watch. Or I'll start a game on stream, I can't touch that till I go back to stream it, and then I'll have to just pick a game where it's like, this one's just for me.
Okay,
This
I'm
is-
gonna.
This is the Ryan game. Just for
You
me.
want to pull someone in?
Yeah, I'm gonna start pulling people over. So let me bring on. Hey, you, Cole, get over here. Cole, get
He was
over
here like
here.
2 seconds ago. Where'd he go?
I saw him walk by.
It's fine. I
Yeah.
slacked him and stuff.
So Cole is a PlayStation owner.
And yes, we will get back on topic. I apologize for the segue there into my mental processes
You're up.
that nobody asked for.
While we're waiting on Cole, I'll just go ahead and we'll just knock this out real quick.
I love it.
Wait.
You're so efficient, Ryan.
Hang on. Maybe.
Okay, or maybe the compliment was
Ruh-roh.
a bit premature.
Ruh-roh.
Just
Nope.
vamp. We'll be good. There he is.
It's gone bad. It's all gone bad.
That's all right. We forgive you. We forgive you.
Hey, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, Cole.
Hey, Cole. So PlayStation VR, the reviews are out. Are you planning on getting it?
So I was, for a while, I was planning on getting it.
Okay.
Then the reviews came out.
The reviews came out, and I'm not sure how to take them because
Mm-hmm.
I have used both the Vive and the Oculus,
Mm-hmm.
and with the Oculus, I was left kind of disappointed just because, like, I wanted to get more immersed in
Yeah.
the games I played weren't really.
It's a lot of money still.
Yeah, it's still a lot of money.
It's a big investment.
Do you have a high-end PC?
I have one that could use a Vive. Like, I have a graphics card that could
Uh-huh.
support it. So.
But it's $1,000.
But yeah, it's like $800, and I'm like, I mean, I can justify it a little bit by saying, oh, it's a new TV screen. So it's like, oh, instead of buying a TV, I can get.
Yeah, I guess you could make that argument. I mean, you could use it for kind of a desktop
Yeah.
replacement or to watch Netflix and things on. But
However,
it's
like, I feel it's like losing its true value because my apartment can't have one. Like, I don't have
just-
enough space.
you don't have space. Yeah.
Yeah, like I have like 2 feet on either side of my bed.
So the seated experience is the kind of experience that you really are looking for with VR.
And that's why I was interested in the PlayStation because it's like, oh, well, maybe it will offer that bridging of the gap between, like, with the Oculus, there was none of it. And I was like, okay, well, maybe with the console, like, they can kind of maybe move the controller. I don't know. Like, I don't know. What are they, PlayStation Moves?
PlayStation
The
Move.
controller.
Yeah.
Now, did you have PS3?
Yes.
So do you already have Move controllers?
I do not. No,
You do not?
there's no-
Okay.
No.
I mean, okay.
So,
You're lost.
How do you feel about buying those?
I've played with them and they're all right. So, I don't know, like, especially because I'm still actually not sure how much I want to use VR for gaming. as much, just because like
Instead of social or
You
Well,
just
more
want
so,
you want
like,
it as a TV
as a
screen
TV
replacement.
screen. Yeah, I mean, I would like it to be kind of be all encompassing.
So the fact
I'm
that we
gonna
were
warn you
making
off of
fun
that.
of the fact that you get to watch it in a super cool fake apartment is actually a legitimate
That's
thing.
his
So
for
yeah, I mean, that
reality.
was the thing. Is like, okay, well, I can have a
Everybody can have a nice
I can have an
apartment.
immersive, like a more like isolation viewing experience. I can say, okay, don't bother me.
you
other
can.
people.
I'm going to go ahead and
But
warn
it's-
you.
The other thing is like now
Yeah.
with all the phone stuff, I'm like, okay, well, that's an easier.
I
route.
don't know what the weight is like. The Oculus is the lightest of the ones that I've
Yeah.
had on my head, and I can't imagine the PlayStation VR is
Oh, no,
lighter.
yeah.
It's not the kind of thing you really comfortably want to have on your head for
Yeah.
longer than half an hour. Usually.
No, that's like, that's the thing. Like playing with, go over to Miles's all the time
Uh-huh.
and play on his Vive,
Uh-huh.
and so that's the one where it's like, okay, I kind of have run through the games that he has, and it's like, okay, there's a lot of games that I'm kind of done with.
Yeah.
It's a nice immersive party experience.
Mhm.
And so that's like kind of why I'm more hesitant now, as it's like I'm hearing reviews of the PlayStation 1. I'm like, I'm not quite as sure anymore.
Yeah.
So
So they're turning you off on it. Is
Yeah.
what you're saying.
more and more stuff. It's just like
Yeah.
I'm not hearing enough of stuff to do.
Well, I will say
So
it's
you
got,
just needed to build a library, or
Yeah,
okay.
and that's what I was kind of hoping. Like that was the draw of like PlayStation. It's a console. It's going to have company support. Whereas
Mm-hmm.
like the Vive, they are supporting it, but I feel like a lot of stuff's almost user submission level.
it is. Yeah.
It's more indie.
Yeah,
It
a lot
is.
more
Opposed to,
indie.
like,
I mean,
That's
it-
been
it
kind of
is-
Third-party
Steam
developers.
issues of late.
It is worth noting, though, that Sony has dedicated an entire studio to VR development. So I think
So-
that's going to come.
Yeah.
It's, I get that not every title is available yet, but Sony's definitely committed to it. I think they did, unfortunately, have some layoffs at the VR
Yeah,
studio.
that's not a good sign.
But that was, honestly, like layoffs, they suck, but with this industry, they're unfortunately
Necessary.
not uncommon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the project that that particular team was working on had wrapped up, and so they furloughed them. I'm not sure why they would do that instead of like rolling them into another project. But the thing is, it does happen. The team development teams ramp up and ramp back down all the time.
And the upside
So-
is, as a larger issue, or not issue, but as a larger benefit to the VR community, as PlayStation attracts AAA developers to doing VR experiences, a lot of those developers are going to want to make their content available on multiple platforms.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, Sony's going to lock down some of them for partial exclusivity or even full exclusivity, but they're not going to get all of them. So
Yeah,
you're going to end up
so-
getting a lot of these titles dragged into the other headsets as
Yeah,
well.
I think you guys mentioned earlier that was also like the thing that's kind of pulling me back from PlayStation now as well, was that they're releasing the PlayStation Pro, or what is it? PlayStation
PS4 Pro, yeah.
Yeah, and so it's like, okay, well, I have the first generation one, and so is it going to support it as much? Am I going to get a lesser experience?
I mean-
because I don't plan on buying a PlayStation 4 Pro.
The easy answer is yes.
Yeah.
You will be, which is not to say that it's going to be bad. As far as I understand, all the reviews and all the benchmark testing and everything were done on a standard PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
like all the reviews and everything are based on that hardware configuration. They were saying, I think that the frame rate for PS4 Pro versions is going to be a little bit better, which for VR does make a difference. But the base experience is designed for the PlayStation 4 hardware that 40
That's
million
good.
people already
That's
have.
something I was kind of wary of.
Yeah.
So.
I feel like I'm comforting you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
It might be
Yeah,
okay.
you're soothing.
You'll be
Don't
all right.
worry.
Cole. You'll be all right.
All right, so I'm going to read this real quick.
Okay, cool. And then we're going to have on Brian Riley from our games department
Okay.
to talk about PlayStation VR from his experience.
Okay.
Awesome. Thanks for having me
Cole.
on.
Thanks for coming on, Cole.
All right, we'll just make sure he cleared the camera. Okay. Shopping is frustrating. Wandering from store to store only to find clothes that are ill-fitting or not what you're looking for. Skip it all with Trunk Club. With Trunk Club, you don't ever have to set foot in a store, and you get your very own stylist for free. Make it easy to look your best in clothes that fit you perfectly, handpicked by your personal stylist. Go to trunkclub.com/thepatch, type in your measurements, share your likes and dislikes, and you get your very own personal stylist. They'll pick your clothes from over 80 top brands and ship them right to your door. Keep what you like, send back what you don't. Make a statement at the next big event on your calendar and with a look that's handpicked just for you and your style. Get started today at trunkclub.com/thepatch. That's trunkclub.com/thepatch. Thanks, Trunk Club, for supporting this episode of The Patch.
Yeah.
What show is
I'm
this
not saying that these pants are from Trunk Club. but these pants are from Trunk Club.
Oh,
they're
man.
they're basically like my mom now, and they're like, "Honey, try this," and I'm like, "Okay,
It'll look
Mom."
so good on you. Don't worry about it.
No, it's really
And
handy because
mom always knows best too.
Only it's a
It's
mom that's
true.
like hip and with the times and actually knows how to pick clothing.
my fashion sense has narrowed a great deal over the years. Where I'm like, I know this works, so I'll just get this over and over and over again. And
You're
so I end up
like a
with-
cartoon character.
basically,
Yeah.
basically, I just have like the different video game shirt and then a pair of jeans at all times. I've been working with a stylist at Trunk Club, and they're like, try this, and I'm like, that's actually nice. That's how I got my boat shoes that I'm always showing off.
You do love those boat shoes.
I've gotten a couple of other pairs of shoes since then. I've got my gray jeans. You should see the other day I had this like green kind of like military vesty looking thing. I'm practically styling these days.
Wow. You trunk him.
Practically. Let's not go too far.
Practically.
But I'm working on it.
Okay.
So.
Within the realm of stylish possibility.
Cole, you look so different.
Oh,
It's a transformation.
And we said bye to you. Why didn't you
Yeah.
leave?
no, I'm back. I look
So
different.
the PlayStation VR, you getting it?
I would like to. Yes.
Have you like pre-ordered
I have
anything like
no
that?
pre-order.
Why?
So I'll be hunting it. Well, at first I was kind of on the fence with the whole VR thing.
VR in general or console VR?
Well, just both.
Okay.
But once I test out the Vive, I think by then all the PSVR pre-orders were gone for the most part. But the Vive really sold me on it.
By the way, did I actually give you guys a whole Vive?
You did.
Okay, good.
But it was missing like one crucial part.
So no.
I'm sure it was. I mean,
So
that's
we
I
never
told
used
him
it.
that when
He was
when,
being polite.
Wait,
did
don't
it.
I remember this? Wasn't this the thing that you
look,
and
we
Gus
had
went back and
we
forth
had a couple
on?
of the pre-release ones, and then we had some of the pre Vive pre's. Or what that's all we have now. I think. I don't know if we have a production model, but Games was going to come get one of the
Yep.
pre ones, and I gave you guys a box, and I was like, I don't know if everything's there, and no one
something
ever
was-
came
yeah.
back.
Yeah, well, we still have it, still in the box.
Okay,
I
good.
think
I
one of
figured
the
that
hand
no one had
units
opened
wasn't
it.
working or something.
Okay,
Which
That
rendered
sounds
we got
right.
more. You can just come ask.
Oh, we got a new one,
Okay,
and that thing's awesome.
problem was solved. Good. I didn't even have to do anything.
We don't need you, Ryan.
So you're sold on the idea of VR in general now.
Yeah, it went from okay. I bought a Wii. I waited in line for that thing. It was awesome for the first weekend, and at Thanksgiving every year. That was it for me.
Yeah.
That's
And I thought-
everyone's experience with the Wii.
Pretty much, yeah.
And then like 3D TVs came along. I'm like, okay, this is cool that one weekend. And then I tried it out. I'm like, yeah, this is the next step. This is for real. And that's what it felt like to me. Like, I got to show people this. I would do this. But again, like you were saying earlier, maybe for a half hour at a time, every now and then. But I think it's more of a leap forward than what the Wii gave us.
It makes an incredible demo. You can show
Yeah.
anybody that, and they're like, "Oh my God, this is amazing!"
Mhm.
And then the reality of what do I do with it when I go home every day? Like I just worked all day. Do I feel like coming home and slapping something on my face?
Yeah.
Which is sort of comfortable, but not incredibly comfortable. I mean, it's like, all right, I can stand to have this on my head, but not like it's like wearing a cloud. It's a dream. I don't notice it at all. Not there.
It's going to be a while before I get to that, I think,
Yeah.
because the way they like stick out is going to just change the way your head balances. Just the weight distribution it's
Get used to it.
yeah, get used to it.
Also, it's real sweaty.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do they work like in store demos? Like, do they constantly have like wipes or sanitary wipes or somebody there? Just
Maybe that's why there aren't store demos.
Maybe
for
it's-
Vive.
Apparently, by the way, someone on Twitter, I can't find them exactly at the moment, but they're saying that PlayStation VR is demoable in Best Buys.
Okay.
Okay,
I assumed
so-
that they would. But by the way, a lot of times you can actually replace the
like
foam.
yeah,
it's just
you just
Velcroed
rip-
in, so they
yep.
just probably rip them out.
Okay.
There's also, you can get ones that are
Here we go. Yeah,
like
it's Freddy
leather.
Krueger 420. Says it's available to try at some Best
Solid
Buys.
username.
They tried it with Eve and with the DualShock controller, and it was good.
Really?
Oh, I forgot you can use the standard. I just spit on you. Sorry, you can use the standard DualShock controller as opposed to the Move, but I think there might
I
be
think
some
it probably
games-
depends
Yeah.
on the
Like,
implementation.
yeah.
It always does. Right?
Well, you definitely wouldn't want to play like a space sim game and have to hold your sticks up like this
It's
the whole
true,
time.
yeah. As opposed to just
That's
using the
not good.
controller.
That's a bad experience.
fun.
That's a Wii level implementation
Yeah.
for sure, where you can try it for a couple minutes and it's like really cool, and then after a while, you do that thing where everyone was doing when they got into Legend of Zelda, where it's just like down here and just like flicking.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, so
Every
what
now and
attracts you to the PlayStation VR over Oculus or Vive?
I don't know if I'd go over,
Okay.
but I am a console guy. 100%.
Okay.
Console blub.
Yeah, I've always
Me.
had. I've always been a console guy.
Mhm.
So if I were to have all of them, I think the Vive with the whole room space is amazing. But from what I understand, and I haven't gotten a whole lot of hands-on with the PSVR, it has kind of room scale, but not really.
You
No,
can
it's
move.
a- it's
You've
a-
got controllers.
Yeah, it's like sit down and it can move a little bit, and
Yeah.
it can track some
It's
motion with the
mostly a
move controllers and stuff.
seated
But it's
experience.
That's yeah, I'd say of the three, it is the lowest probably on the move spectrum.
Okay.
Oculus actually, you can do a fair decent
With
amount
the
of
new
moving
hand
around.
thing, right?
Well, you can do it with the current headset. It's
Okay.
just that they don't have controllers.
because there's that external camera, right? It's
Yep.
just that it's limited in the same way that PlayStation VR is limited in that you have to stay within its range of focus.
Which I mean, it could be that PlayStation VR is only held back by the same thing that holds back Oculus from having a more robust solution, which is just that there's only one camera. I mean, Vive has two.
Yep.
Well, they're not cameras in the Vive's case, but if there was
Don't you, like, put 'em
additional
around the
tracking
room?
range, yeah.
Yeah.
If you just had, it would probably be easier to do multiple stations with an optical tracker like that than there is with the. Well, that's not necessarily true. Anyway, with the Lighthouse solution on the
Are
Vive, which
you
is
arguing
actually
with
actively
yourself
looking
over there?
out. Yeah, I am. I'm having a disagreement with my own self. No, Ryan, you're wrong. Okay, fine.
Yeah. So, what do you think it's going to take for it to catch on?
I think it's the price point's helping it a lot, and the install base of the PS4. I mean, a lot of people have computers, but not a lot of people have like that level of computer. So, I mean, again, I keep doing the comparison game. That's just us being in games, like we have all the toys for
Right.
the most part. But me personally, I only have the one console, and I think it's that install base is really, really going to help it out.
Yeah, having like a potential audience of 40 million is good. I know the minimum video card specs, at least for both of the PCs, are the 970, right? Which
They
I know a lot of
claim.
people have.
It will run. A lot of stuff will actually run fine with less than that. And there's entire subreddit chains dedicated to just making the message that pops up in Oculus Home go away.
Really?
Because if you have less than the minimum required or recommended, it pops up a message at the top of Oculus Home, not in the view, but just on your desktop view. That's like, hey, you're not up to spec, and that just stays there.
You cheap ass.
You can close
Rude.
it,
No.
but you can every time it just pops back up. So yeah, understandably, people get tired of seeing that every time they log in. Like, hey, you're not good enough for me.
Stop negging me, Oculus.
Exactly. Why you always got to say something bad? Why can't you be like, you know what, your video card isn't up to spec, but you look nice today.
Okay, awesome. I'm actually gonna get Eddie over here because I
Okay.
know he was not thinking about getting PlayStation VR, but he is thinking about getting it now.
Interesting.
Oh, he's been turned.
Yeah, he based largely on the reviews. Let me see. Heyo, Eddie, get
Based on the
over
reviews,
here.
You
which
got
have been
about
not
5 minutes.
strong.
No, they've been mixed-ish.
Yeah.
for sure. They've been again. It's saying that like it's not amazing frame rate and all that. It's not amazing resolution.
entry level, like
but
you
it's
said.
it's
Yeah.
immersive and it's everything that you would expect a console one to be, and that it does a really wonderful job for that. It's not just lowest, like ticking the boxes in order to get it on console. Like they've really been trying with this one.
What I
So-
do want to see is the resolution difference between the PS Pro and the one I have at my house. Now, like I want to see those reviews and benchmarks.
I mean, I can tell you that the PlayStation VR is running at 1080 across both eyes, which is on par with the DK2 of the Oculus, and it's noticeably better not being in that resolution any longer with the newer version of Oculus and the Vive. It's the main thing that's really going to bug you if you play any game that has text where you need to read it. It's basically illegible. Maybe they'll figure out a way to make font sizes giant or some kind of like special super sampling for texts.
Yeah.
Texts?
Texts.
But that's the worst part when you're playing like a space sim because you want to be able to look at like, oh no, critical failure in my jump drive. No, it's just like blob, red lights. I guess something went wrong. I don't know.
Yeah, but at the same time, if you think about it, in the same way that 24 frames a second is cinematic, having blurry text in the corners of your vision is realistic. Like I can't focus.
But
very
dead
clearly
center
right
of your vision
here.
is where it's bad.
Okay,
when you're like,
yeah, that I have
I'm
trouble
looking
helping.
at you. What do you say? It's like everybody that plays on 1080 has got bad eyes. Basically, you need some kind of bifocals for it, but there's no fixing it.
Yeah.
Maybe we just live in an alternate universe where everyone is super nearsighted.
It's
Or
possible.
no, maybe we're farsighted.
You think they would have, fixed that though. You would have everything in your cockpit
know
would be
I'm
like
one,
the
but I don't
phone
know
for
which
Granny
one.
that has the numbers
Can
that
you
are
see
this
stuff
big.
that's
Yeah.
really close to you or stuff that's far away?
I don't know. I have what's called hyperopia. Someone look that up. That's what I have.
Okay.
Hyperopia.
Hyper.
Opia.
Oh,
You can.
yeah.
I was diagnosed when I was like 13, and I need glasses when I turn 30.
You're
something.
farsighted.
Got it. Okay.
Okay,
That-
there we go.
That's just a really fancy way of saying that you can't see stuff that's super close.
Okay, yeah, that's what it is. Hyperopia.
Oh, there's Eddie. Brian, thanks so
Are
much.
there
for
any- yeah, thanks,
stepping
Brian.
on.
Yeah.
Eddie,
Eddie, come explain yourself.
yeah, defend your position. The world is against you.
What's up, buddy? Again.
Okay, so basically we're getting perspectives from a bunch of different people based on whether they're thinking about getting PlayStation VR or not, or what the new reviews that have just come out are indicating. So you weren't thinking about getting PlayStation VR. It wasn't really on your radar, but now it is.
Yes, it's a little bit on my radar.
By the way, nice shirt.
A little bit. It is
Pretty nice.
escalated
It's a-
from
Pretty nice
not
shirt.
on your radar
Is that a
to
patch shirt?
sorta
No,
on
it's
your radar.
that's the
That's-
no shirt.
Oh.
You like it?
Shirt. I do.
I do.
It's very
Is that
nice.
hyperopia? You can't see that.
It's, I
Yeah.
can't see it though. It needs to be farther away.
All right. So why is it now a little on your radar?
Okay, I say a little just because I'm not wanting to admit that I kind of want it.
Oh.
So, well, because I
You
don't.
feeling bad over there?
You playing
Eddie?
hard to get?
Little shame.
You feel? Why are
I
you?
don't
Wait,
wanna
hold
like
on.
you.
Why are you feeling shame about it?
Well, I
PlayStation
don't-
VR. Why
you're
can't
in
I
good
quit
company.
you?
Well, because it's like the lower end of everything, and it feels like, oh, it's like the dirty one.
He feels like he's slumming.
Wow, Eddie.
Yeah. I mean,
When you say that it feels like
Getting the skanky
convenient,
model.
easy to use, you gonna get to dual wield dildos?
Who doesn't want to do
all
that?
of the above. That's the selling point.
That's the dirty part of it. Yeah.
well, no,
It's so
I would,
naughty.
So my worry is that I would get it, and then I would like love VR so much that then I would just be like, well, shit, I should have just gotten like Vive or Oculus Rift,
Mhm.
and now I just spent all this money, and it's not even the high end experience, and now I'm super on board.
So have you tried any other VR experience?
Yes,
Okay. What have you tried?
Vive.
Okay. So would you consider maybe going to a Best Buy and trying one out first to get kind of a feel for the PlayStation VR versus the Vive to see if you immediately could not make that jump?
Yeah, I think I'd like to go try it out and actually
Mhm.
get some head-on experience.
We all would like to go
Sorry,
get
you want
head,
to go get
yes.
some head?
Yes, yeah.
What?
I want to go get some head.
We
Some
got the
head-
move
head-
controllers
Yeah.
for it.
Heads
There
on
you go.
experience.
This is all going down a weird path.
Yeah. Well,
Welcome to the patch. We tend to get weird at the end, especially when we have ice buckets. Can we make?
You drank 2 beers.
Look, I also haven't been eating properly today because I've been
Oh,
on planes.
That's
Did you have
still
lunch?
Can I
one
just say,
real
though,
beer, though.
I did get upgraded,
it's
and
not
so
big.
they gave me a brie omelet.
A brie omelet
Right?
on
So you
an
ate. I
airplane?
had a salad. I'm good.
And I had a coffee.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, you need some food.
Okay.
Yes.
More
Eat
beer,
some
you're
food after
fine.
this.
All right, so
Yeah, no, we're good. We're fine.
what in
having
the
fun.
reviews is turned it on for you though? Because I mean, it's not like there's been a lot of good people.
Yeah, what's turned it
or
on to
a
the
lot
point
of
where you
people
wanna
saying
get
good
your-
things about it.
Where you want to get head?
I think it's that it like visually, because my big worry about it was that it was going to be so underpowered that it wasn't even going to be able to. That it just wasn't even going to feel like VR. That it was
Okay.
just going to feel like totally cheap imitation knockoff. Because I don't really have a space in my house for VR. I don't have like a good setup for it, and I don't have the PC for it. So I'd have to upgrade or build a PC, or I'd have to figure out a new spot in my home where I could even do it. So I was like, okay, this seems like it could be pretty cool, but if it feels like knockoff imitation VR, then I don't want any part of it. But the big thing about the reviews is that all of them were talking about that it feels like VR. It's still immersive. It's still, it still holds its own compared to the other headsets. So I was like, I think I could do that for the price.
All right.
Yeah.
So you're willing to slum it, with you admittedly feeling like it's slumming it,
Yes.
just because it fits your lifestyle.
Yes, more for lifestyle, space, price, and then I've always felt like if anyone was going to have the kind of content, Sony was going to have a pretty good shot at
The
it.
developer backing
Yes.
is going to be there. Okay, we're almost out of time. So, Caden, do you have
Yeah.
a counterpoint, or
Caden
you
has a
agree?
counterpoint.
Okay.
Get
in here real quick.
The reason I wanted to get Caden on.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Eddie.
Eddie. The reason I want to get Caden on is because Caden is actually buying a PS4 Pro
Okay.
to complement his PlayStation VR, which he's actually super excited about. I'd say
So
he's probably
you're
the most
tripling
excited
down.
about all of us.
I actually switched over from Xbox, so
You
that's
poor
my.
bastard. Okay.
That's-
Did you ever
that's
get an
my-
Xbox One? Did you ever get it?
I have 3.
Xbox
Okay.
Ones.
Yes.
Interesting.
I have 3 Xbox Ones. I was sure that Microsoft had their things together.
Oh, they
because
kind of fucked up with the
the
Xbox
360.
One.
The 360 was like a solid platform. I'm like, okay, Xbox One is going to be great, and I'll buy the PlayStation later. I bought the PlayStation and Xbox. They were both kind of weird at launch. In that, I'm really happy with the way Sony's going. So when they said, "Hey, PS4 Pro," I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna try for it. I'm gonna go for it.
So you already have a PlayStation.
I already have a PS4
You're
Pro.
planning
I
on-
have a PS4.
You plan on buying the Pro. Do
Already
you already have a
pre-ordered.
Move?
I do not have a Move
You don't have a Move. Okay.
because that was nonsense on the PlayStation 3 anyway. So
Well, I mean, it's gonna be
that's fair.
nonsense here too, but you have to have it anyway.
that's true.
We don't have to. You can play several experiences without it.
Exactly.
But you're limited in your library. If you,
You
don't
will
get
be
it.
slightly limited in your library.
But part of what made me interested in getting the PlayStation VR is, again, the price point. It's really simple. It's really easy. It is basically like the dollar store VR in comparison to the Vive or Oculus.
VR. Everybody's saying you're cheap and worthless.
Well, I mean,
However-
how does that feel?
Here's the thing, though: isn't PlayStation
However-
VR also saying, "Look how affordable we are"? Like
$400.
they're just using a nicer word for it.
That's fair.
Yeah, no,
That-
they don't say bargain bin. But
No,
they
they don't.
They say affordable.
Yes.
That's true. Which means the same.
That said,
Yeah.
the PlayStation VR experience is going to probably be the easiest thing to deal with in comparison to everything else. If you want the true VR experience, you're going to need to at least have some technological know-how, and you're going to have a tremendous amount of space for the proper experience. I mean, you want that 360 degrees. You want to have that stationary setup too, and to have the true experience, it's going to be a little bit more expensive. I do have a PC that can run VR, but not like at the best settings.
Right.
Minor upgrades for my PC at home, which isn't too much of a big deal, but it is that big space thing. And I can see Oculus and the Vive basically becoming something much greater in about a year or 2 years. But I kind of want to have that mini experience for myself and for everybody at my house. And PlayStation's pretty much got that for a low price point. And it'll allow that, like, okay, is this something that we would like to invest more money in once things become better? I would like to have a wireless headset.
I mean,
which Google's working on.
You could do that right now with the Google Cardboard type experience.
Well, also because
Or,
Google just
Gear
announced.
VR.
Google just
true.
announced what is the Dream? Google just announced their new
The
VR
Pixel?
headset. It's
Oh.
like cloth covered.
Yeah, which I
and
think
it's
again
wireless.
is just maybe is that actually an independent heads or VR
I'm
headset?
checking
or
that
is
out
it-
right now.
potentially. But the thing is with the whole Google Cardboard thing is
Or Gear
Google-
VR. Let's compare it to Gear VR.
Okay,
'cause that's a more reasonable.
with Google Cardboard period, it's like
Daydream.
not very comfortable. It is
no,
it's-
well, Google Cardboard is just cardboard.
exactly.
Yeah.
Gear VR, again, you need to have another device to support
You
that.
do have to have a phone.
You have to have the phone that supports that, and that would
Technically,
mean
you can run. We'll say you can run it with any a real smartphone that has a screen of decent size. It does not benefit from the full range of integration that the Samsung Note or the whatever the other phone was. It actually would work with the Gear, but
the exploding Galaxy
you
7s.
can. Yeah, there you go. The Galaxy 7. You also your face doesn't catch on fire as much.
That's- I
but
mean, you know,
it does work with other phones.
The other thing is it's primarily a gaming experience for me and for my household. So the important thing would be to have something that would support a bunch of different games. And Sony kind of has that as their benefit, where, you know, the Vive and Oculus kind of do, but they're kind of warring with each other, where PlayStation gets to have its own little house of things where it's like, hey, we have friends who are already making games doing this, and we can coerce them with a little bit of money to make them either exclusive or timed exclusive or something that would like push something for us specifically. Like they have the Until Dawn game, which is just a rail shooter.
Yeah.
But in that, it's a simple, elegant experience where you're just sitting there and you're going on a little ride, and it's that like late 1990s like what is it?
Like B horror movie. type-
campy horror.
It can't be horror, just something like House of
going
the
through it
Dead,
now. It's
and
fun.
you're just kind of going through it, and it's really that's kind of the introductory VR experience that most people will need to be kind of sold on it. It's like, here is the general blockbuster idea
Yeah.
of, it's like, here's the Marvel movie that will make you like all these other Marvel movies, and that's what like PlayStation VR is. It's like, here's the easy thing to swallow, so that in about a year or 2 years, you won't feel so bad about spending the $800 on the HTC.
So you think that this is
You'll
a
just
good?
want that much
you
more-
just
you'll be
need
able
a,
to
you
take
want a
that much more
starter VR
Exactly.
girlfriend.
So much more
Exactly.
it's easier
Okay.
to swallow.
It's like that first car that you get out of high school. That's like it doesn't really
kind
matter
of
if
the
you
bigger-
wrecked it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right,
I'm just gonna
well,
wait for all my friends to get in, just play at their house.
or that's also the
I
moocher
mean,
approach.
I
Yeah,
know.
it's again back to the car.
You know where I
analogy.
live, right? I just like that's my whole life principle is the moocher approach.
All right, so I'm honestly I'm interested. It is pre-ordered out,
Out of stock?
considerable ways. Yeah.
Yeah, you're not getting one anytime soon if you haven't already pre-ordered.
But that said,
Drat.
it will be available at some point. In the meantime, you just use the moocher approach and go to someone's house and play it, or go to
Find
Best
a
Buy.
friend,
since
make
it-
friends, or go to Best Buy and
but
make
yeah,
friends there.
I'll be interesting though how many actual PlayStation Move controllers are in this building
Ooh,
or
not
in this
many.
building?
or in Soundcheck.
A third of one, just like a
It's
broken
very
one.
possible
Yeah.
that we have none.
Yeah,
I mean, of all companies not to have a PlayStation accessory, this would be pretty up there.
it's true.
Yeah. Well, we shall see.
Yep.
Either way, I'm optimistic about it. I think it's nice to have a console VR option.
It's more experience, and like I said, I hope there's kind of a spillover effect of whatever Sony is not able to lock down as a PlayStation exclusive. You'll still have these bigger developers attracted to VR, and then they'll spill their titles over onto the other platforms.
Exactly.
Yeah, really, everybody wins, which is important. And by everybody, I mean the consumers, because then the
You sound like pre-release Palmer Lucky, not like post-release Palmer
because
Lucky.
I just like the developers having to compete against each other. It's how you drive features and innovation.
Yes, work for my love.
Yes, yes.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us on the patch. We will be back next week with probably less talk about PlayStation VR, but maybe more
Possibly.
beers.
I'll
Maybe
be
even
here.
full
I,
Full-size
you know what?
beers.
beers.
I would like to
VR.
I'd like to make beers a full time thing. I moved to make beers.
Maybe we'll even get full-size beers.
I
Sure.
I
Instead of
second
these little baby ones,
I
little
second
baby
I
bottles.
second that motion. Also, normally we run Game Club after this. We've decided to push it a week because Gus is away at New York Comic Con, and we don't really want a Game Club without Gus.
And it
so,
just gets us closer to Halloween.
and it gets us closer to Halloween. And we're playing this month's Game Club is Layers of Fear. So you have an extra week to play the scary Layers of Fear game before we talk about it. And
You're looking nervous.
Yeah. That's because the scary games are the worst. So we will have that next week instead. And also, if you are a Rooster Teeth First member, then you'll be able to find the post show for this week on the website. Not today, but when this episode goes public. If you're not a Rooster Teeth First member, we do more patch every week. We tackle a topic
That's
that
still a thing. We still do it.
that we-
Post shows.
Post
Yeah.
show? Yeah.
We still do it.
Just we
Cool.
You're
it's a
about to
thing.
do
It's a
one.
thing that we do.
Nice. I was here for the first patch post.
Yeah,
show.
you were.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're still doing them. They're a success because of you. Where we'll tackle a topic that the community suggests, and that's exclusive for first members. So if you're not a first member, consider becoming one and get that much more patch in your week.
All right. Well, thank you all so very much. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.